I want to grow flowers. I want to be surrounded by colors every day. I'm tired of darkness. Yes. I want to share it all with you. If you're willing. Then it sounds like I have everything I need. More of life than I'd ever imagined possible without Shah.
Hey guys, it's DBD Gamer Girl here. Welcome back to my channel. So this is another video idea that I had based on a TikTok that I've made in the past. But I thought it would be interesting to see the Baldur's Gate characters like characterized as certain romance or fanfic tropes, because I feel like their storylines and their romance paths all kind of have a trope behind them. So I'm gonna sort them into these categories. So we have enemies to lovers, which is one of my favorite tropes. There's slow burn, healing love, one true love, love triangle, grumpy and sunshine, which is a cute one. Friends to lovers, a classic. Partners in crime, forbidden love, star-crossed lovers, the one that got away, age gap, forced proximity, and unrequited love. So I'm gonna put them into these categories based on how I feel that their romance generally goes. Today I'm only going to be rating like the good versions of these characters, like, or their base versions. I'm not going to be doing like the ascended routes, because those are so hard for me to rank sometimes when it comes to romance, because I feel like those are not even romances sometimes, like by the end of the game. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to start with the normal ones. So let's do Shadowheart. I think Shadowheart definitely fits into healing love, because she recovers from a lot of trauma while she's in the relationship with you. And I feel like you're kind of a good guiding force for her to heal, especially, you know, gaining some of her memories back, etc. And also I feel like she's very guarded and has her walls up in the beginning, but your love and your trust kind of helps her break those barriers down and start to trust in you. So I feel like I see a lot of emotional growth in her and healing. I'm also going to put Shadowheart under slow burn, because I feel like she does slowly open up to you, and her romance progresses, you know, a little bit slower than some of the other companions, particularly in the physical department. So I think she's just like, you know, I feel like she fits slow burn very perfectly. Okay, now let's talk about Halsin. One place he's definitely going is love triangle, because I mean, obviously he's polyamorous, he's willing to share you with other people, but sometimes that causes complications in the other characters' romances, like if they don't necessarily want you to sleep with Halsin. Some of them are okay, some of them are not cool with it, so he's definitely in the love triangle category. I think I will also put Halsin in age gap, because he is 350 years old. I know some of the other characters are old as well, but Halsin just gives me the vibes that he's going for younger people. Like, at least that's just the kind of vibe that I get from him. Like, he has a lot of experience and he's just like interested in younger people, and he just has like a very mature aura, and that gives more of an age gap vibe to me, especially with Tav. I don't know, so I'm putting him there. For Lae'zel, she definitely belongs in enemies to lovers at least, because she does start off very hostile and kind of aggressive towards you, and eventually she softens up, and if you do go down her romance path, she's like very, very soft by the end, which is really sweet. I also personally see her as grumpy and sunshine, because I don't know, I think she's like the perfect grumpy candidate, and then if your Tav is very bright and happy, I feel like it's a really good mix. Like, it's like an almost like an opposites attract type of thing, but very grumpy sunshine. I guess that's not necessarily the case if you don't see your Tav as the sunshine, but like I've always kind of seen that, so I'm putting her in grumpy sunshine. Okay, next for Gale. Gale definitely will also go in healing love because I feel like he recovers from a lot of his traumas with Mystra with you. Like, he literally says that you've kind of helped him understand love more, and he does like compare you to Mystra constantly, but in a way that's good, like that he kind of sees how he's recovering from his relationship with Mystra. I'm also honestly gonna put Gale in unrequited love because there's the whole Mystra dynamic where he was kind of pining after her regardless of realizing that she's bad for him. And also Gale is like one of the most dramatic characters if you are like not in love with him. Like, he has these really iconic, I guess, breakup dialogues, and he was like notorious for kind of breaking up with people who didn't even know that they were like dating him, because he kind of like acts as if you've betrayed him if you get with some other character when it's not even clear that you had any kind of romantic interactions with Gale. So I just find that kind of funny, honestly. And I'm also gonna put him in a third tier of forbidden love as per his dynamic with Mystra, because obviously the relationship between a goddess and a mortal should not really be romantic or sexual, but in his case it was. So he kind of fits into a bunch of different tropes, like based on his background. Okay, now for Astarion. Astarion's definitely also going in healing love because obviously he learns about what love truly is and, stops using sex as like a manipulation tactic as he grows and matures in his relationship with Tav. I'm also, honestly, I don't know if this is biased, but I'm gonna put him in One True Love because I feel like, the devs really focused a lot on Astarion's romance and just how Tav is like the sole person who's kind of been able to show him what real love really is, and he feels like he's able to open up and be his true self, specifically with Tav, and he discovers all of these things about himself, and he's like very, very confident and very, very committed to his relationship with you by the end of the game. And I don't know, it just feels like a very special One True Love type of concept. I was very torn on putting Gale in this category as well, but I just feel it a little bit more strongly with Astarion. I don't know. I don't know. I'm this is how I'm gonna leave it. Okay, next for Karlach. Okay, Karlach definitely I think belongs in friends to lovers because she gives me a very friend type of vibe at first, and then you kind of have some good banter with her and some good interactions with her, and that eventually becomes love. I'm also gonna put Karlach in Partners in Crime because, she seems like really fun to just go and mess stuff up with, and if you do the ending where you go to Avernus with her, you're basically going after Zariel, and it just seems like a very Partners in Crime type of vibe with Karlach. Okay, for Wyll, I'm gonna put him in definitely slow burn. He's definitely one of the slower characters to kind of develop in his romance with you, and he says he likes very traditional type of romances. So even initially when you have the dance with him and you kiss him, he says, I'd like to do more, but I want to wait. And eventually he proposes to you to marry him. So Wyll is definitely a very slow burn. I feel like it ramps up very slowly. I'm also gonna put Wyll in One True Love because he just gives me very Disney Prince vibes. I feel like he just belongs in One True Love. He's like a forever commitment type of guy, and once he has his eye on you, he's pretty much locked in. Also, he's not okay with any polyamorous stuff. He's not okay with Halsin. He's not okay with the Drow twins. So he's like a very, one woman type of man, or one man type of man, I mean whichever, but for me a one woman type of man. So I feel like he's just very committed. I think that's good for Wyll. For Minthara, I'm definitely going to put her in Partners in Crime. She is a great person to be going around and, you know, just taking control of the world, dominating the world with her at your side is definitely her romance trope. Like, I love that about her. And I'm also actually going to stick her under enemies to lovers because obviously you don't start off on the best terms and you kind of have to convince her of why you're going to help her, etc. And then eventually she becomes your lover, whereas like initially the game is coded for you to go and fight and kill her in the goblin camp. So obviously you're starting off as enemies, but if you go a different path, you slowly open up her softer side. So she definitely belongs in enemies to lovers as well. Okay, so that about concludes where these characters fit in terms of, you know, some of the biggest romance tropes, like in my opinion. In my TikTok, I also did one on some of the NPCs, like Emperor and stuff like that. So if you're interested in seeing a part 2 with some of the other characters that are not the main companions, let me know. I hope you guys are having a great day. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Leave any video ideas that you have for me in the comments. I love reading them and actually doing most of the videos that you guys come up with. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.